You've probably heard it a million times. Aries are the ones who love hard but they leave just as fast. But why is that? Is it something in their stars? Or is it the very core of their personality that makes them so intense, so passionate, yet so quick to move on? The truth might surprise you. You see, Aries aren't running away from love, they're running toward themselves. Their search for self-expression, independence, and excitement is so powerful that it sometimes overshadows their need for a long-term commitment. But here's the catch. Understanding why Aries love this way can give you a deeper insight into their behavior, and how you can navigate their world without getting burned in the process. Stick around because what I'm about to share could change how you see Aries forever, and maybe even how you experience love. Aries, governed by the fierce and action-driven Mars, often approaches life with the same intensity as a wildfire. Fast, consuming, and unapologetic. When they fall in love or stumble upon a new interest, it's as if the universe itself conspires to fuel their passion. Imagine an Aries discovering astrology for the first time. They might binge-watch every video about zodiac signs, dive into chart readings, and start analyzing everyone they know. But just as quickly as they immerse themselves, the thrill might fade, leaving their notebooks half-filled and their partners wondering what just happened. This tendency to burn brightly and then retreat is a hallmark of their impulsive nature. In relationships, Aries can be both intoxicating and perplexing. They're the ones who plan surprise weekend trips under the full moon or show up with a gift that perfectly captures their partner's personality, all within days of meeting someone. Yet when their enthusiasm cools, they might abruptly shift focus, leaving others questioning the depth of their connection. It's not that Aries lack sincerity, they simply crave the rush of newness. This pattern isn't limited to love. It applies to hobbies, careers, and even friendships. Their excitement for the latest fashion trend or a groundbreaking astrological concept can be just as fleeting. This impulsiveness, however, isn't a flaw, it's a testament to their adventurous spirit. Aries thrive on novelty and change, often seeking the thrill of discovery over the comfort of routine. They're the kind of people who light up a room with their enthusiasm, encouraging others to step out of their comfort zones. For example, an Aries might convince a friend to take a spontaneous road trip to watch a planetary alignment, inspiring moments of joy and spontaneity. But this energy can also leave them feeling unfulfilled when they realize that chasing novelty doesn't always lead to deeper satisfaction. The lesson for Aries lies in finding a balance between their thirst for excitement and the rewards of consistency. Imagine if they channeled their fiery drive into mastering something long-term, like understanding the intricate ways the planets influence human behavior. By doing so, they could experience the satisfaction of growth and accomplishment without losing the thrill they crave. This doesn't mean they should suppress their impulsiveness, it's a core part of their identity, but rather learn to direct it in ways that enrich their lives. Ultimately, Aries' impulsive nature sets the stage for their dynamic personality. While their ability to dive headfirst into love and interests makes them captivating, it also leads to emotional extremes. This is where the journey gets even more fascinating, exploring how Aries navigates the pendulum swings of emotional investment and detachment. When Aries invests emotionally, they go all in, there's no middle ground. It's as though their entire astral alignment compels them to pour their heart and soul into the people and things they care about. Picture an Aries friend who, upon learning about your zodiac sign, dives into creating a personalized birth chart analysis for you. They'll text you at 2 a.m. with insights about how the moon's placement might be influencing your emotions. Yet, as intense as their care can be, there are moments when they withdraw completely, leaving you wondering if you imagined the connection in the first place. This oscillation isn't deliberate. It's the natural rhythm of Aries' emotional tides. One day they're showering you with attention, offering endless support and making you feel like the center of their universe. The next, they might seem distant, caught up in their own whirlwind of thoughts or distracted by the allure of something, or someone, new. It's not about manipulation. Aries often struggles to sustain their emotional output at such high levels. Their fiery nature fuels them for short bursts, but prolonged intensity can lead to burnout. For those around Aries, this emotional dynamic can be both thrilling and challenging. It's easy to get swept up in their passion, but their sudden shifts can leave others feeling disoriented. To navigate this, one must understand that Aries' love and care are genuine, even if they aren't always consistent. An Aries parent, for instance, might plan an extravagant party for their child, complete with a solar system theme and personalized astrology readings. But when the event is over, they may retreat into their own space, needing time to recharge. For Aries themselves, the key is learning to pace their emotional investment. They thrive when they find outlets that allow them to express their intensity without overwhelming themselves or others. Practices like journaling under the full moon or engaging in creative projects tied to their zodiac passions can help them channel their emotions constructively. By doing so, they can strike a balance between giving their all and preserving their energy for the long haul. As we dive deeper into the complexities of Aries' emotional world, their fearlessness in setting boundaries becomes a natural extension of this intensity. After all, who better to define where their energy begins and ends than someone who feels everything so deeply? Aries has a reputation for boldly drawing lines where others might hesitate. Their approach to boundaries isn't tentative or apologetic. It's direct and unapologetic. Whether it's in personal relationships, workplace dynamics, or even casual interactions, Aries knows where they stand and ensures others know it too. Imagine a colleague who, despite their fiery enthusiasm for teamwork, is quick to point out when a project crosses into their personal time. Their confidence in asserting themselves is both admirable and, at times, intimidating. This fearlessness stems from Aries' deep sense of self-respect. They inherently understand that protecting their energy is essential for maintaining their dynamic spirit. For instance, if someone tries to overstep their limits, perhaps by demanding too much of their time or questioning their decisions, Aries won't hesitate to call it out. It's not about creating conflict. It's about preserving their autonomy. And while their honesty can sometimes come across as harsh, it's rooted in their desire for mutual respect. For those around Aries, this trait can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's refreshing to engage with someone who communicates so clearly. On the other, their bluntness can catch people off guard. An Aries friend, for example, might flatly decline an invitation if it doesn't align with their priorities, leaving little room for negotiation. But this straightforwardness, when understood, is actually a gift. It eliminates guesswork and fosters honest relationships. Aries themselves benefit immensely from their boundary-setting skills, though the journey isn't always smooth. There are moments when their strong stance might alienate others, especially those who mistake their assertiveness for stubbornness. To navigate this, Aries can balance their directness with empathy, ensuring their message is firm yet considerate. Activities like meditation or grounding exercises during the astral phases of the moon can help them align their fiery energy with a more measured approach. Their unwavering stance on boundaries naturally complements their aversion to monotony, which we'll explore next. For Aries, protecting their individuality often means seeking constant growth and change, refusing to let routine stifle their vibrant energy. Aries is the zodiac's ultimate thrill seeker, constantly chasing what's fresh and exciting. They view routine as a cage, one that dulls their vibrant energy and stifles their potential. It's not uncommon to see Aries diving headfirst into a new hobby or project, only to lose interest once the novelty wears off. Take, for instance, an Aries who picks up surfing after watching an inspiring video. For weeks they're obsessed, buying gear, studying techniques, and hitting the waves daily. But as soon as the initial thrill fades, they're already eyeing their next adventure. This restless spirit often leaves others struggling to keep up. Friends or partners may feel like they're running on a hamster wheel, trying to match Aries' ever-changing interests. It's not that Aries lacks commitment. It's that their passion thrives on stimulation and challenge. They're wired to pursue things that ignite their spark, which is why they often excel in environments that reward innovation and adaptability, like startups or creative industries. However, the downside is that they can sometimes abandon projects or relationships prematurely, leaving others feeling disoriented. But Aries doesn't see boredom as a flaw. They see it as a signal, a cosmic nudge urging them to pivot and evolve. Instead of settling for the mundane, they'll often ask themselves, what's next? This relentless pursuit of growth aligns with their dynamic energy and zodiac sign's cardinal quality, which is all about initiating change. For example, if their current job feels stagnant, they won't hesitate to shake things up, whether that means asking for a promotion, switching careers, or starting a side hustle. Even in relationships, Aries seeks a partner who can match their zest for life. They're drawn to people who challenge them intellectually and emotionally, ensuring the connection remains fresh and stimulating. If you're involved with an Aries, try surprising them with spontaneous trips or introducing them to unique experiences. They'll appreciate the effort to keep things exciting. Similarly, Aries can benefit from practicing mindfulness, learning to find beauty in moments of stillness, like observing the phases of the moon or reflecting on their growth during quiet evenings. This constant craving for novelty ties seamlessly into their next defining trait: their honesty and directness. Aries may get bored easily, but they'll never fake enthusiasm. They'll tell you exactly how they feel, as we'll discover next. When it comes to honesty, Aries leads the Zodiac pack with their unfiltered, no-nonsense approach. They don't believe in sugarcoating their words or tiptoeing around delicate subjects. For Aries, clarity is kindness, even if their bluntness occasionally stings. Imagine asking an Aries friend for their opinion on a new outfit. If they think it doesn't suit you, they won't hesitate to say, "It's not your best look," but they'll likely follow it up with a suggestion to try something more vibrant or daring. Their honesty comes from a genuine desire to help, not to hurt. This directness extends to their handling of conflicts. Aries is the type to address issues head-on, refusing to let resentment fester. If they sense tension in a relationship, they'll initiate a conversation rather than playing guessing games. For instance, if a colleague drops the ball on a team project, Aries will point it out immediately, perhaps with a fiery intensity, but they'll also suggest solutions to move forward. This straightforwardness can be a breath of fresh air in a world where many shy away from confrontation. However, their bold communication style does come with its challenges. Not everyone is prepared for Aries' level of candor, and their words can sometimes be misinterpreted as harsh or tactless. For Aries, it's a balancing act: how to remain true to their authenticity while considering the emotional sensitivities of others. A helpful strategy for them is to pause and frame their feedback in a way that highlights both the positive and the areas for improvement. This approach ensures their honesty remains constructive, not destructive. One of the greatest strengths of Aries' straightforward nature is their ability to inspire trust. People often turn to them for advice, knowing they'll receive an unvarnished truth rather than a comforting lie. In friendships, this quality makes Aries an invaluable confidant. They'll cheer you on when you're thriving and give you a wake-up call when you're veering off track. Their sincerity can be a powerful motivator, encouraging others to face their own truths with courage. Aries' fearless honesty sets the stage for their next key trait: their belief in self-justification. While their directness often earns admiration, it's also why they sometimes struggle to see their own faults, as we'll explore next. For Aries, their confidence and sense of self are non-negotiable. They believe in their decisions, often justifying their actions with a fierce conviction, even when those around them might question it. Aries doesn't easily admit they're wrong. Instead, they'll focus on the circumstances that led them to act a certain way, reinforcing their belief that they did what was necessary at the time. For instance, if an Aries ends a relationship abruptly, they'll rationalize their decision by pointing to the lack of passion or compatibility, rather than acknowledging any personal missteps. This self-justification isn't always about avoiding blame, but more about preserving their autonomy and sense of self-respect. Aries values personal integrity above all, and if their actions align with their values, whether or not others agree, they're at peace. This can sometimes make them seem stubborn or inflexible, as they often stick to their guns even when the situation could benefit from a more nuanced approach. For example, an Aries in a work dispute may refuse to back down from a position, even if compromise could lead to a better outcome. While this self-justification helps them maintain their confidence, it can also prevent them from seeing things from other perspectives. Aries tends to view their actions through a lens of logic and reason, believing that what they do is justified, regardless of the consequences for others. In personal relationships, this can lead to misunderstandings or resentment, especially when others feel like their emotions are overlooked or dismissed. Aries may need to consciously check their behavior and consider how their actions impact those around them, to strike a balance between self-respect and empathy. However, this unwavering belief in their own righteousness can be a double-edged sword. When things go wrong, Aries might find themselves reluctant to admit fault or seek feedback. Instead of looking inward, they may blame external factors such as bad timing or the actions of others. This can be frustrating for those close to them, but it's part of what makes Aries a passionate and driven individual. They may not always acknowledge their mistakes, but they're always ready to push forward, undeterred by setbacks. This drive for self-empowerment leads seamlessly into their next defining characteristic: their passion for individuality. They don't need validation from others to feel whole, which often sets them apart as natural leaders. Let's explore this trait next. Aries is the embodiment of individuality in the zodiac. They're not the type to follow the crowd or stick to conventional paths. Whether it's in their career, fashion choices, or personal beliefs, Aries will always march to the beat of their own drum. They thrive on expressing their unique identity, and they reject any attempts to box them in. This can be seen in how they take on challenges. They're the ones who'll pursue their passions fearlessly, regardless of how unconventional or risky it might seem to others. If everyone else is playing it safe, Aries is likely the one making bold moves and forging new paths. One of the most powerful aspects of Aries' individuality is their refusal to conform to societal expectations. They embrace the idea that being themselves is the most fulfilling way to live, and this sense of freedom fuels their drive. Take, for example, an Aries entrepreneur who decides to build a business around a niche interest, even if it's not widely recognized. Their self-assurance and unwavering belief in their vision help them succeed where others might hesitate. This pursuit of individuality often leads to personal fulfillment, as Aries is constantly pushing boundaries and exploring new aspects of themselves. This strong desire for individuality is also tied to their need for independence. Aries isn't content with being reliant on others, whether in relationships or their career. They value autonomy and the freedom to make their own decisions. It's not uncommon for Aries to take on projects solo, as they prefer to rely on their own instincts rather than the input of others. However, this need for independence can sometimes clash with their relationships, as those close to them may feel left out or neglected. Aries needs to find a balance between honoring their independence and nurturing their connections with others. An Aries' passion for individuality also makes them natural trendsetters. They're often the first to adopt new ideas or lifestyles, and their bold choices inspire others to follow suit. Think of a celebrity Aries known for their unique style or groundbreaking ideas. They aren't afraid to stand out and embrace their authentic selves. This passion for self-expression is contagious, encouraging others to embrace their own uniqueness as well. It's one of the reasons why Aries often attracts a following of like-minded individuals who admire their fearlessness and originality. Ultimately, their drive for individuality transitions seamlessly into the final trait that defines Aries: their dynamic and energetic nature. Let's dive into how their boundless energy shapes the way they approach life and relationships. Aries is the epitome of energy and dynamism. When they walk into a room, you can feel their presence. Their vibrant energy is palpable. Whether they're tackling a new project, meeting new people, or even just living their day-to-day life, Aries brings a contagious enthusiasm that inspires everyone around them. Their boundless energy often makes them seem unstoppable, constantly moving forward with passion and drive. It's this vitality that makes them so exciting to be around. You never quite know what they'll do next, and that unpredictability is part of what makes them so captivating. This energetic approach to life is what fuels Aries' ability to take on challenges headfirst. They don't sit around waiting for opportunities to come to them. They create their own. For instance, an Aries who feels unfulfilled in their job might not waste time complaining about it. Instead, they'll go out and find a new opportunity, one that excites them and matches their desire for growth. They're always on the move, seeking the next big adventure, project, or experience that will bring them a sense of purpose and excitement. However, this dynamic energy can sometimes work against them, especially when they try to juggle too many things at once. Aries tends to dive into new ventures without fully considering the long-term consequences, often spreading themselves too thin. This can lead to burnout, as their enthusiasm outpaces their ability to maintain focus on everything they've started. It's important for Aries to learn how to channel their energy wisely, ensuring they aren't burning the candle at both ends. Practicing mindfulness and setting clear boundaries can help them sustain their vitality without overwhelming themselves. Their energy isn't limited to physical pursuits. It also manifests in their emotional life. Aries are known for their passionate, intense feelings, whether it's for a new love interest or a cause they deeply believe in. This emotional fire is what drives them to give their all in everything they do, from relationships to creative endeavors. When they care about something, they pour their heart into it, often without reserve. However, this intensity can sometimes be overwhelming for others, as Aries' emotional energy can feel like a whirlwind. Those close to them may need to adjust to this passionate energy, learning to navigate the highs and lows that come with it. Ultimately, Aries' dynamic nature can be a powerful force for personal growth and success. Their energy propels them toward new opportunities, and their zest for life keeps them motivated in the face of challenges. But like any great power, it needs to be harnessed carefully to avoid burnout. This energetic drive transitions perfectly into understanding how Aries manage their impulses and emotions, which we'll explore in the next topic. Aries often find themselves in situations where they need to explain or justify their actions, but more often than not, they do so with a sense of confidence that their decisions are completely justified. When things don't go as planned or they find themselves in a disagreement, their first instinct is to defend their choices, sometimes even when they know deep down that things could have been handled differently. Their natural tendency to blame external factors, be it other people or circumstances, often prevents them from fully reflecting on their own role in a situation. This can sometimes make it hard for others to get through to them, especially if they're too wrapped up in their own perspective. For instance, an Aries in a relationship might not immediately acknowledge their part in an argument, instead attributing the issue to their partner's actions or miscommunication. While their intention isn't to avoid responsibility, their strong sense of self-confidence and the belief that they're always acting from a place of good intentions can cloud their ability to see the bigger picture. In moments like these, they may need someone who can gently challenge their self-perception, prompting them to reflect on their actions with a more balanced perspective. This self-justification can be both a strength and a weakness. On one hand, it helps Aries stand firm in their beliefs and decisions, enabling them to move forward without second-guessing themselves. It's that very self-assurance that drives them to take risks and pursue goals with passion and determination. On the other hand, it can create tension in relationships and hinder personal growth. If they constantly blame others or external circumstances, Aries may find it difficult to learn from their mistakes and make the necessary adjustments. Recognizing when to own up to their actions can help them grow as individuals, both personally and emotionally. Despite this tendency, Aries are capable of great self-improvement, particularly when they open themselves up to feedback. In fact, embracing the idea that not everything they do is perfect can be a transformative experience for them. It's through this vulnerability, admitting that sometimes they might be wrong, that they can become even more powerful. By accepting responsibility for their actions, Aries can create stronger, more meaningful relationships and a deeper understanding of themselves. In the end, Aries' drive to justify themselves often stems from their deep desire to maintain control over their lives. They fear that if they admit fault, it could weaken their sense of self. But true power lies in the ability to admit mistakes and learn from them. This self-reflection ties into how Aries navigate their emotional investment, which we will explore next. Aries have a deep-seated need for individuality that fuels much of their life's energy. They resist the idea of being boxed into someone else's expectations, constantly seeking to carve out their own path. Whether it's through their choice of career, relationships, or personal interests, they are determined to express themselves in a way that feels true to their inner selves. They despise the concept of being just like everyone else, and will go out of their way to ensure they stand apart. This passion for individuality is often reflected in their wardrobe choices, hobbies, or the way they approach challenges. There's a distinct Aries flair in everything they do. For example, an Aries who's passionate about astrology might not simply stick to the popular beliefs or common interpretations associated with their zodiac sign. Instead, they may delve deeper into obscure texts or seek to understand astrology in a completely unique way that aligns with their personal philosophy. It's this sort of rebellious spirit that defines them, not in the sense of defiance but in their ability to stay true to their own identity. This authenticity allows them to stand tall in their own skin, refusing to be anyone other than themselves, no matter the pressure from society or others around them. However, this strong desire for individuality can sometimes isolate Aries from those who don't quite understand their need for self-expression. It can be a challenge for them to form connections with people who are more conventional or those who prefer to blend in. Aries thrives best in environments where they can freely express their creativity and ideas without fear of judgment or restriction. This is why they often feel most at home when surrounded by people who share their desire for personal freedom and are willing to support their ventures. Yet, as much as they value individuality, Aries can occasionally overlook the importance of compromise, especially when it comes to relationships. They may be so focused on staying true to their own path that they unintentionally alienate those who may not share the same intensity for personal freedom. Finding a balance between maintaining their individuality and nurturing relationships with others requires some introspection. Aries may find that compromising doesn't mean losing themselves. It's simply a matter of integrating their unique qualities into a shared experience. In the grand scheme of things, Aries' passion for individuality drives them to be pioneers, constantly pushing boundaries and defying norms. Their unique approach to life is something that can inspire others, even if it's not always easy to understand at first. The more they embrace this passion and work towards a balance with the needs of others, the more they can enrich their lives and those around them with their distinct presence. This ties directly into their dynamic and energetic nature, which we'll explore next. Now that you know why Aries love hard and leave fast, the question is, how can you use this understanding to navigate relationships with them? Will you embrace their fiery passion and unpredictability, or will you struggle to keep up with their relentless need for independence? Whatever path you choose, remember, understanding is the first step toward meaningful connections. Aries may seem hard to pin down, but once you get to know them, their intensity and authenticity can become a source of inspiration. So, if you found this video helpful and want to learn more about how to connect with Aries and the other signs, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. And hey, don't forget to like the video if you think Aries energy is as fascinating as I do. Keep the conversation going in the comments below. What's your experience with Aries? Let me know.